Thank you very much indeed, David. Yes, very much the end of an era here at Priestfield. Andy Hessenthaler, a person who's really embodied Gillingham for the last 9 years here as a player and a manager. But you've only got to look at the position. The Gills second from bottom of the championship, just one win in 14, and that's why he's decided to quit. But whatever the reasons behind it, he's always going to be a hero to the fans. An inspirational figure for the Gills ever since he joined from Watford for a club record fee of £235,000 in August 1996. Andy Hessenthaler's commitment to the Gillingham cause has never been in doubt, and that desire to win has sometimes got the better of him. He became manager in June 2000, just after Peter Taylor's side had won promotion to the First Division at Wembley. And he immediately defied the critics who said the Gills would struggle. Despite very limited resources, he steered them to mid-table, and at the end of the 2002-03 season, they were 11th. But last year was a different story, the club just avoiding the drop by drawing at Stoke on the last day of the season. And this time round, although the opening was bright with notable victories against Leeds, Preston and latterly Wolves, the struggle has continued. A heavy defeat at Crewe at the weekend proved the final straw for the man who's given so much to the club.
I just think it's the right decision for me because this is my club, and you know, it's a sad day for me, but I feel it's right for the fans because, as I say, they've been fantastic, for the chairman and for the club itself, because we've worked so hard to be where we are, and I don't want to throw that away. And I just feel as if somebody else coming in with the players could actually push us on.
It must have been an incredibly difficult decision for you. As you say, this is your club. You've always worn your heart on your sleeve as a player and as a manager, so it must have been very, very tough to actually make that decision. Yeah,
I've not had much sleep over the last few days, really, but you know, I've just taken the club and thought about things over the last few weeks, and just felt that I think it's the only way to go to get us out of the problems we've got, and so I don't want to let people down.
Well, the fans certainly don't think he has.
I think it's a shame because Andy's done very well for the club, without a doubt. It may be that he's taken us as far as he can.
And they've done well over the last 10 years. He's to be congratulated.
What will his legacy be with the club, do you think?
I don't know. I think that all depends on the new man coming in.
For the moment, it will be assistant manager John Gorman who takes charge for Saturday's crucial game with Nottingham Forest. He'll be a contender for the job permanently, but many others will also be fighting for it. Well, of course, Andy Hessenthaler, it was always said here that the chairman, Paul Scally, wouldn't sack him regardless of what happens to Gillingham, so it was as much a shock for him when Andy Hessenthaler told him last night he wanted to quit. I'm joined by the chairman now. Paul, it must have been a very, very difficult conversation for you.
It was very sad. We had about 2 hours together, and such is his honesty, he came out and told me that he thought that the club could go on better, perhaps if he stood down and let somebody else come in with new ideas and new views. And, you know, with such sort of honesty, you have to respect that, I think, and it's very rare these days in football generally. And I very much would like him to stay on at the club in a different role, and I've offered him a position on the board. He'll obviously take a few days to decide if he wants to do that. But, you know, he is what he is. He is a legend at his club and will always be a legend. The club, though, nevertheless has to move on. Already some names being touted. Mickey Adams, a former player, one of them. And I gather you have had some calls from agents this afternoon. Well, 3 minutes after the press release went out, I had an agent on the phone, and it's been like that all day. I must have had 26, 30 managers phone me, some very big names as well, which is quite surprising but quite flattering. But, you know, I want Andy Hessenthaler to be involved in that process. I think if he does take the role upstairs with me, helping me take the club on, that's an important role for me because it will give me a buffer between the football side and the work I do. I think none other than him to decide who the most appropriate person is to come in and take on the role. That would sound very much like a director of football role, a role that's sat uneasily at some clubs. Well, I don't think I understand people thinking that, but you know, for me it will be a full ball director role, and he will be responsible for all football matters in the club. It's a very big role. There's a lot to be done, but of course he wants to keep playing, and I want him to keep playing if he wants to do that. So we'll just take a few days to chill out and just see how things settle down, and we'll take it from there probably. And how soon do you hope to make a managerial appointment? Well, John Gorman's going to run this weekend. Hesse's going to come to the game and be with me in the box and take the applause that he should rightly take. And then we'll look at it next week, and hopefully by next week, end of next week, we should be in a better position. Paul Scally, thank you very much indeed. And of course, a huge game here for Gillingham on Saturday, and as Paul Scally has just said, really a chance for the Gills fans to say their thank yous to Andy Hessenthaler for everything he's done for this club. And from our point of view, thick-skinned media that we are, he's always been an absolute delight to deal with, and I hope for the sake of him and his family, he does well in the future. From us at Priestfield, back to you in the studio.
As the speculation grows about Andy Hessenthaler's successor at Gillingham, the assistant manager, John Gorman, is the man in charge for now. One area of the team that satisfies him is the goalkeeping department, where Jason Brown and Steve Banks are fighting it out for the #1 jersey.
We've got 2 outstanding goalkeepers at this club, and they're
which is good, isn't it? Because they are now competing for the first.
Yeah, they're excellent goalkeepers, and you know, nobody was at fault for. We're not blaming anybody. We're saying this is the kind of work that has to be done day in, day out.
Brown is the man in possession after a series of outstanding performances, but he knows Banks is breathing down his neck.
To have Banks here about is good for me because he's a senior pro. He's been there. He's done a lot, and now I'm learning.
Brown played a massive part in Gillingham's heroic victory over Wolves when they were reduced to 10 men. That was Gillingham's fighting spirit of old, but it seemed to have evaporated in succeeding matches. Despite Hessenthaler standing down as manager, the team still has belief.
They're doing everything they possibly can on the limited resources, as you can see, looking at the training ground. And you know, when we step over that white line at 3 o'clock and the referee blows that whistle, it's down to us.
But one problem getting to Brown and the rest of the players, and that's the state of the pitch.
It doesn't help when we're playing on a beach at home and the crowd are getting frustrated with us, and it's not our fault. We're trying to do the right things, but you can't always play football on a beach. You know, we're professional football players, not beach football players.
As for Gorman, he remains one of the favourites to succeed Hessenthaler, and his name is also being linked with other clubs.
It's not been easy, actually, because obviously my name's been linked with this, that and the next thing, and I've been concentrating very hard on my job here, and I'm a real good professional because I've always done that. But, you know, it's nice to have your name linked with other jobs, but nothing's happened, you know, and at this present time I can only say that I'm working very hard to help Gillingham Football Club.